Hey everybody, welcome back and Happy New Year. It's 2025, it's CES week, and we're here at Nevada Partners in our incubator. And I'm really excited because we are joined by the CEO of Red Pitaya and our business partner. And we're about to have this incredible conversation. We're going to learn what it takes to apply deep STEM technologies into entrepreneurship from these experts from Slovenia. Please open us up by introducing yourselves.
Okay, so my name is Mateja Lamperupnik. I'm the CEO of Red Pitaya. Red Pitaya is a company from Slovenia, 11 years on the market. And we have this little thing here, a open source programmable platform, a small computer, a very innovative product that we this year brought to CES to showcase and to potentially find some new partners.
Fantastic. Welcome to Vegas.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Ross. I come from a photonics background, and I'm here to help Red Pitaya establish our U.S. market and expand.
Fantastic. So we took a look at the Red Pitaya website, or at the slide deck that Diana was so kind to share with us, and we learned that the company considers itself the Swiss Army knife of engineers. Can you talk to us a little bit about what does that mean, and where it looks like you have a strong intersection between software and hardware, which is not necessarily common amongst engineering companies. And so can you tell us about what does it mean to be the Swiss Army knife of engineering?
I will take a bit more time here because it's really interesting to understand the whole story. So then you will also understand why the Swiss Army knife for engineers. So basically, our product was developed in a company called Instrumentation Technologies in Slovenia, a company that produces very complex test and measurement instruments for particle accelerators. So we come from the big physics. In 2013, the owner at the time and the founder of the company decided that since their Instrumentation Technologies was on a very niche market and didn't allow the growth, he gathered the best engineers, and the idea was, let's come up with a product that will be interesting also for a wider electronic market. So they went through a startup process of brainstorming and finding an idea, and they came up with the idea of Red Pitaya. So the idea of Red Pitaya is this little small thing, a credit-sized board. When you plug it into your phone or to your laptop, you can get measurement instruments, test and measurement instruments like oscilloscope, signal generator, and all the bulky instruments that you usually see in a research lab. For a fraction of a price. This thing costs like $400.
Wow.
Whereas if you buy an oscilloscope, a traditional oscilloscope, it can be from 10,000 to 50,000 euros. So the idea was, let's democratize research instruments and bring them to every person who wants to do something in his garage, innovate. Then during the years, the product became a popular tool for academia, for electroengineering courses, also for physicists. And finally, we are very proud that we are also present in industry. Some really prominent industry partners are using our instrument, they integrate it in their products. So why Swiss Army knife for engineers? Because it's extremely versatile.
This microchip right here?
Yeah.
May I take a look at it?
Yeah, of course.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you think it's okay if we...
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody be careful with this expensive piece of equipment, but I also want to see if it can get into the camera. That is really, really fantastic. That's amazing. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the democratization of this technology, because I could totally see it's making it easier for research professors to be able to do research. But you're at CES, which I'm not sure if there's a lot of folks in academia at CES. I think you can tell me better. Is there a lot of folks, you're selling this to startups that are also experimenting, innovating, creating new products?
Exactly. That's exactly it. So democratization, the idea at the time was, if you wanted to innovate, if you had an idea to develop a product, you had to find a research lab, right?
Right.
With all these bulky and expensive instruments, right? So with Red Pitaya, for a fraction of a price, you can have a nice research lab back at your garage. So that was the idea. And yes, of course, in academia, it's very useful because every student
Mhm.
can afford such a thing.
Right.
They can bring it back home and make a lab at at their own home office. It was very popular during the COVID because students of electrical engineering were able to do the lab exercises back home. Why we came to CES? No, there's not a lot of academia at CES. You're right, but our goal is that we penetrate industry.
Mhm.
As you mentioned, a lot of very innovative startup companies are doing incredible things with our product, and especially in segments that are using emerging technologies, like in nuclear, in fusion, in quantum, in photonics,
Right.
in aerospace. So yes, we are really proud that we can say that companies, with the help of our product, can find very innovative solutions to very complex problems.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what you've done here. I mean, for smaller than the size of a wallet, it sounds like you've been able to combine so many deep technologies. Ross, can you talk about what it was like for you to come across this product, come across this business, and what it was about this that really made you go, you know what, I'm going to actually jump in and be a part of this?
Oh, for sure. If you were to imagine all the products and all the instrumentation that this small little board would replace, I mean, it could cover easily one of these tables.
Mm-hmm.
It would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, where now you could replace it for a couple of $100. And, in my career, I've done a lot of component sales. Generally, it's referred to as OEM, original equipment manufacturer.
Okay.
So what you do essentially is you go find someone who's building a larger widget.
Mm-hmm.
And within that larger widget, you sell them single components, and it makes it kind of nice because you find one account, and that one account is hundreds of orders as opposed to a one-on-one. But what makes this very nice, as Mattea mentioned, is its modularity, right? There's so many different kinds of applications that this one product can fit within. And, as I mentioned earlier, when I came across the website, it was very clear, like, hey, this has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And it's something that has a wide reach of applications, from aerospace to biotech to anything that really does any kind of signal processing, signal analyzing, image processing, and so forth. So it really, as a person who's trying to push this product forward, it's an ideal situation, right? I'm not cornered in one market. I can kind of reach out to other markets, create new markets, and it kind of gives me that versatility when it comes to business.
That's incredible. And folks, we're about to open it up for questions. So start thinking about what your questions are, and we'll go, round robin or raising hands style. But Mattea, I have another question for you, and it's I'm gonna kind of backstory this for a second. Our CEO at Nevada Partners today, her name is Lizette. She came to Nevada Partners somewhere along the lines of 18 years ago. Like as a front desk assistant, and she built up her career here, in this community to the point that she is now our CEO and president. She's a pretty good one at that. And I took a look at your LinkedIn, and you were at Red Pitaya before in supply chains, and then you went and you built out more experience before returning as a CEO. Could you share some, career advice for the folks that are watching now? What that journey was like, and if you knew that you were going to become CEO from the moment you walked into Red Pitaya the first time, or if that's something that just kind of fell on your lap, or tell us about what was some of the mindset that led you to that, and maybe some of the challenges you overcame to become a CEO of a great tech company.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question. So I've been present at the group of the companies, so in instrumentation technologies and in Red Pitaya now for I think 15 years. And I originate from supply chain. So I started in instrumentation technologies as a supply chain manager. By not being an engineer, it was quite challenging for me to start in such a high physics, high tech company as instrumentation technologies. But I was very fortunate to be surrounded by really great people, a lot of fantastic engineers with a lot of knowledge that never had a problem sharing that knowledge.
Great.
That support helped me to grow. As a supply chain manager, you need to understand the basics of the things. You need to understand the business side of it, and it made me grow. And no, of course, when I came to Red Pitaya, I was not convinced. It was not my first idea to become the CEO. But the founder of both companies, Rok Uršić, the founder of Instrumentation Technologies and Red Pitaya, really recognized the type of leadership and thought that I am the right person to take over. It was quite challenging because I took over under the worst, as a CEO, under the worst, the first lockdowns in 2020.
Yeah.
I had a very small team, only 2 people when I started, and I grew the team to currently 12 fantastic people. I have a very young team and very talented team, and you can be a CEO, but without a team, it's nothing. So that's in short.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's always incredible to see folks really flourish in their careers and be an example for other people to know that hard work is can lead to it being possible. And something else I take from that lesson is the importance of sharing information within teams, right, and not withholding it.
And as far as the female listeners of your podcast, just be courageous, be vocal. I was never silent, even if I was joined by great engineering minds. I was always asking questions, not being afraid that I'll ask something stupid. And if I even sometimes I asked something really basic, and I thought maybe this is a little stupid or basic question, but the guys then, oh wow, realize that this is an important question. So just be vocal, be courageous, and
That's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that advice. All right, let's start going to the audience for questions. I'll just raise a hands, or I might call you out. Diavian.
Okay, so I was looking on the page and I see you guys are creating technologies that are able to go out into space, right?
Yeah.
All right. I just want to know, was it an interview process of trying to get stuff to go actually past, because I know there's radiation layer, right? Stuff that can go past the radiation layer and actually be sustainable in space, outer space. How interview was that process?
And I'm just going to repeat the question for in case the mic didn't pick that up. So a really great question, Diavian. The question is, since this technology has an impact with space, right? Space applications, how did you design this in such a way that it can withstand the dangers of space like radiation?
Okay, so NASA, we are very proud that NASA is our customer, and we have several projects with them. One was they built a prototype of a machine that measures the quality of the air on the International Space Station.
Mm.
and 2 Red Pitayas were actually circling Earth in that instrument. I hope NASA will not be offended by me saying that, but when they send prototypes to the space,
Mhm.
they are not actually space graded.
Oh wow.
So the instrument went just as it is
Mhm.
in a prototype. But then when they confirmed the prototype and then when they confirmed the concept, they asked us, our Red Pitaya, and in cooperation with Instrumentation Technologies, our mother company, to develop a version of Red Pitaya that was space graded. So yeah, that is quite a challenging process. But fortunately, we have a really a great engineering team that works for particle accelerators and for big physics, and they were really confident in building
That's
the
incredible.
instrument. Yeah.
Tell us more about what space graded means, please. What goes
Space
into that?
graded means that components on the board need to be tested for um, uh, being in space, basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's looking at making sure they don't deteriorate and anything like
exactly.
that. So
That
does that
they can withstand the radiation and everything. That
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dion. John, you had a question?
So I was going to ask, what are the how is it, from on the political side with Slovenia? What are the relationships with the neighboring countries to be able to develop technologies? Is there like like a lot of shared information between like Slovenia and Latvia and Estonia and Belarus and countries like that? What is the ecosystem of sharing scientific knowledge like in Europe, particularly related to Slovenia?
That is great. The question is, given that it's a Slovenia-based startup, what is the ecosystem of sharing that information with your neighbors, and if there's any politics, with as much as you want to talk about that, with sharing this technology.
That's a great question. Basically, in Europe, we have this a system of cooperation also on the scientific side, and on in the industrial side. There's a lot of European funds devoted to those areas, and yeah, I think the cooperation is very good. We have different clusters of industry cooperating on different projects. For example, Red Pitaya was involved in one European project where we were cooperating with the underdeveloped part of Europe, the Balkans, and Greece to build up digital platform that was enabling startups in these underdeveloped countries to better, start developing different technologies. So yeah, I think the cooperation is very well established. There are funds for that. Compared to US, maybe we are a little bit too slow. Maybe we are a little bit too overregulated. But yeah. We
Okay.
are very bureaucratic and very slow. So this is something that we'll still need to. We'll need an Elon Musk for that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the American culture for technology is move fast and break things.
Yeah.
That's got its pros and cons. We'll save that conversation. Jason, your question?
Yes. So Elon Musk is trying to get to Mars. So how can this technology help build spaceships? And with your team being in particle accelerators, how can that create a spaceship?
That's
Well,
great question.
yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
No, great question. So the question is, since we mentioned Elon Musk and he wants to take us to Mars, how does this technology, fit into that mission? And then the part of that question was also, how does this technology fit into building spaceships?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I can tell you that Red Pitaya has been used in NASA as a test bench. I mean, they use it when they were prototyping a new generation of helicopters for Mars. So
wow.
basically, we are already trying and helping to build technologies that will bring us on other planets. Red Pitaya currently is used as a prototyping instrument for prototyping. But if NASA asks us to develop a part of the spaceship, yes, we are here. We can do it.
Cool.
That's great. Any other questions from the audience? Yeah,
So
please.
you guys are a startup in Slovenia, right? Like, I want to know how long it took you guys to get to this point now. And was it a hard process, or I know it was a hard process, but like how hard was it? And, what was the process?
So how long and hard was the process of launching the startup in Slovenia and taking it this far to having a product in the market?
Yeah, we were lucky to have the support of our parent company with all the engineering knowledge that they have. One important thing that I didn't mention before when I was talking about how we founded the company, when the engineers came up with the idea of Red Pitaya, they didn't go produce or spin off a company, but they tested it on Kickstarter. And
interesting.
this was one of the most successful Kickstarter projects in Slovenia.
Mhm.
We were backed by with $250,000,
Nice.
and that was a confirmation on the market that obviously there is a need for such a product, and that this is a disruption that will have an impact. And this is where we were exposed also to some distributors who saw the success on the Kickstarter and approached us and bought first 2 batches of products from us. So this
That's cool.
was an important financial impact, so that we were able to proceed. And yeah, I mean, it's quite a challenge also to scale up. We were able now in the last 3 years to double our revenues, so we are on a good way forward, but it's a struggle, of course.
Yeah, really great point that even though you were a company backed by a larger company, that your go-to market was initially Kickstarter to validate the product. I think a lot of folks kind of skip that part of validating the product. Just curious, since you had mentioned revenue, congratulations on the growing revenue. Is there any sort of subscription model associated to the product, like any sort of software as a service or data analytics as a service or anything like that?
No, we just sell the hardware, and the software is open source. This
Okay.
is our differentiator.
Okay, that's great. And to kind of get a question over to you, Ross, it sounds like you're really well educated on the science side. It also sounds like you're also doing a lot of business development stuff. What advice do you have for folks who want to get into technology, especially deep technology like space technology, mega cities, all these amazing things that might not have this complete scientific training for that, but want to still do business development in that space? Can you talk about that experience?
Sure thing. I don't know who said it, but there's a saying that's been going around that I really like. Find the heaviest rock you could lift and lift it. Find whatever science, whatever portion of academia that you can handle and handle it. Because, the more things you're good at, right, it becomes a Venn diagram. And that includes like social skills, presentation skills, STEM. And the more things that you take the time to kind of master and get to know better, the more your value goes up. Because after a while, as you pick up more and more talents and more skills, your Venn diagram becomes so specialized, and fewer and fewer people can do a role that you can do. And, some while back, I just learned that you could choose what you're addicted to. So why not be addicted to something that's useful? Why not be addicted to something that has positive side effects? And, there's worse addictions, but at one point in my life, I decided, I'm like, you know what? I could become addicted to my career. I could become addicted to my research. I could become addicted to these things that is going to do nothing but add more benefits to my life than not. And, I'm 43 years old and I'm still in school. I never left school and probably never will.
Tell us more about that. What are
Sure.
you studying?
I started off in engineering. I even have a attended certain universities that I didn't even get a degree out of. I just took classes, everything from economics to psychology to neuroscience. I did my graduate work in physics. I'm, with Red Pitaya, there's a lot of courses online which are fantastic, and which kind of would deal in signal processing, computer engineering, and so forth. But I'm not going to stop. And as soon as I conquer this and master this kind of knowledge set, I'm going to see what else is out there. There's so many resources out there. And all my professors hate when I say this, but I've learned more on YouTube than I have in any classroom. And it's all free. It's all available. All you need to do is to want it bad enough. And, once you get to that point where you realize, like, hey, you know what? I could just condition myself to want something that has a long-term benefit. Not only are you going to have a lot of fun, but you're also going to see that you're going to have a lot of industrial value. And then the other side of it is, and I don't know why this is, but for some reason in this reality, if someone's very technical, it comes at a cost of their social skills. And if someone's very social, it comes at a cost of their technical know-how. But that's not a tell-all be-all, and what I would recommend is if you're in STEM, that's fantastic. Stay in STEM, but go out of your way, do stuff like this. A lot of people avoid presentations, and honestly, we all get jitters, right? We all get a little uncomfortable when we're in front of other people. But the beauty of the human mind is if you keep doing something over and over and over again, eventually you're going to learn, eventually you're going to become good at it. So don't just get focused in on STEM. Also realize that, hey, there's a ton of value in being able to communicate, convey, and convince people of what it is that and what it is that you could share with others.
Yeah, that's really incredible advice, Ross. One of the core values we share in this space is to always be learning. And, if you take ABL, always be learning, it makes you, able to do anything really. And I think, really powerful startups and, successful individuals have core values that they're rooted in. Can each of you share a little bit about, yes, the core values of Red Pitaya and of the team, but also maybe some core values or at least some things that you remind yourself of on a regular basis that keep you moving forward, that help you overcome certain obstacles and all that good stuff?
Yeah, for Red Pitaya, the core value definitely is sharing the knowledge. I was mentioning that democratization, right? So we were trying to bring really expensive instruments to everybody who wanted to innovate. So sharing knowledge and innovation, that is definitely something that Red Pitaya stands for. As far as me personally, I think, as you already mentioned, but being open to learn through the whole life, and also get out of the comfort zone. I think this makes you grow.
Absolutely. Get out of your comfort zone. That's great.
Yeah, and to touch upon that, personally, one thing that's helped me is helping others. You need to find a job, come to me, send me your resume. And I'll be honest with you, I'm doing it for selfish reasons because one day I might need your help. And there's no better way to grow your network, not just grow your network, but really strengthen it by helping others. We even had a cab driver the other day who was like, hey, I'm looking for a job. He's sending me his resume. Later tonight, I'll probably help him refresh it. And I want to see what I can do,
That's
because
great.
even if he can't directly help me, he's going to help someone else. And that karma always comes back to you. So, go out of your way. If you have the ability to link someone in, don't see it as competition. See it as someone that, hey, that's within my network. And when people in my network are growing, I'm growing with them. And it's a lot more beneficial to you than it might seem on face value. And I promise you that.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, this is a really good example of, sharing and both a democratization of information because y'all came here and giving on to others because you're, answering all of our questions, which is very much appreciated. As we wrap this up now, would love to hear from you. How can folks, any last pieces of advice, and then we'll wrap up by how folks can get in touch with your company.
Pieces of advice. Believe in yourself, believe in your idea, and go forward. But as we mentioned before, when you're innovating with a product, be sure that you have a confirmation from the market before you go deep into it. So try to get a confirmation from the market that the product that you're developing is really the one that can succeed out there.
Wonderful.
Fall in love with life. I mean, the second you realize that this is a sacred moment, you're so lucky to be here. This is so wild, and just the opportunities you have this day and age. As I mentioned, you could learn whatever you want on YouTube. You have access. You have the technology. The only missing piece is you. You just got to want it bad enough. And the second you want it bad enough, then that's when the magic's going to happen.
Sage advice from both of y'all. Thank you so much. And how can folks get in touch with Red Pitaya?
So we are very strong in digital marketing. So check out our LinkedIn, our Instagram, our webpage. We have a huge community of more than 35 or 45,000 people. A huge amount of projects have been built around Red Pitaya. For those who are STEM-oriented, definitely go on our webpage, on our forum. We have a lot of teaching material freely available, and there is a special page dedicated to student projects built on Red Pitaya. So, yeah.
That's so wonderful. Everybody, please join me in giving Red Pitaya a round of applause for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.